I'm Michael Chipman, Lagree Senior Master Trainer, and welcome to the Do You Lagree podcast. Each episode, you'll meet the people behind the Lagree method, the studio owners, trainers, founders, and experts who share how they discovered Lagree and the moment they knew they wanted to bring it to their communities. We'll talk about the rewards and challenges of building a business and community around this powerful fitness method and the lessons learned along the way. Now, let's get to today's episode. Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of Do You Lagree? I'm Michael Chipman, and I'm super happy to be back with you and very happy to welcome two of my favorite studio owners, the owners of Core40 in San Francisco and Amsterdam, Dean Grafos and Mabel Lau. Welcome, guys, to the podcast.
Thank you, Michael. Great to be here.
Great to be here.
I had so much fun working with you and your coaches when I came to Amsterdam a few months ago, and I've loved learning about your journey with Lagree. And actually, I kind of just want to dive right in and hear about both of you, like what your history with Lagree is. What was your Lagree journey? What kind of hooked you to the method? And then what made you want to open a studio?
Sure. Basically, I wasn't a fitness trainer. I loved fitness, boxing, rowing, all of it. But I never was a trainer. And my first career was law, which I didn't like because it didn't feel like it was integrated with my lifestyle. I felt like it was a job, but not really who I was. So my wife and I started flipping homes in LA. And unfortunately, we also, had a very big social group and a lot going on. So we were a little slow on a few projects, and then the market crashed. This was in 2008, leaving us basically upside down $1 million, no prospects now what to do. And we had no idea what we were going to do, but we decided we have 3 houses we're holding. We're going to rent them, and whichever one rents last, that's where we move. And we were lucky enough that the last one to rent was in Palm Springs. And in Palm Springs, there's a studio called Palm Springs Pilates Plus. And friends of ours invited us to take a class. Just, hey, come take a free class. Had never known Lagree, didn't know what it was. And from the first class, we were hooked. Gave the credit card, we both signed up. And this was, at the time, it was a little cheaper than most studios are now, but it was $300 a month for the two of us with no money coming in. So that's how much we loved it and knew that this needed to be a part of our lifestyle. Now, we knew we wanted to be our business. After 6 weeks, my wife had this nagging back problem for decades, literally for decades. And after 6 weeks, Michael, it was gone, completely gone.
Amazing.
So this gave us like a physical representation that this is something bigger than just fitness. And right at that moment, we said, okay, this feels like this is going to be our next thing. And we, pulled money from here and there, sold our last property that actually had some value, and used every penny we had to open our first studio. And it was the best decision we've ever made in our entire lives.
What an incredible story. Yeah, we're pretty explicit about Lagree is not a rehabilitative method. We're not here to cure anyone's injuries or save it, but the stories of people who have healed their backs or their knees or their wrists or elbows goes on and on and on, including me. I used to have horrible knee pain and lower back pain, and after doing Lagree, it's completely gone. So, wow, what an amazing story. What about you, Mabel? How did you come to this?
So I first met Dean and Lisa in 2011, way back in Southern California, North Park Studio. That was, I came as a client and I loved the workout. I got addicted. So at that time, I was going like 6 days a week, and because the results you see the results fairly quickly in like 2 months. Like, oh, I didn't know I have upper back like definition. I didn't know I have core definition. And, at that time, I was also going through like a little low point in my life, and this became therapy. So I was going every day, got stronger, got my confidence. And then I think about a year and a half in, sometime in 2013, I saw in the newsletter from Core40 at the time, I think we have a few name changes.
It was called Move North Park at the time.
Right. And there was an instructor training. I'm like, yeah, sign me up. So I took the training, and Dean trained me back then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was my mentor. Like he trained me on how to teach, and eventually, we got fully certified, and the rest is history.
Wow, what an incredible story! Yeah, it's amazing. It's a very common story, actually. It's a common refrain with the people that I interview, with the people that I train, that the therapeutic aspect of Lagree as well, that it really transforms you and from emotional, mental, spiritual, physical. It's very holistic. We focus on exercises and time under tension, but the side benefits are incredible as well. That's so cool. So where was the first studio? Was this in San Francisco?
First studio was in Solana Beach, which is a little beach town just north of San Diego. So that was the first one. Then we expanded down to North Park, and I had the joy of teaching Mabel 2-3 times a week. But she was the quietest client I ever had, Michael. Only hello. Hi, Dave. Hi. So it has developed since then, and now we're best friends. So
that's so cool.
That we had that beautiful meeting way back when.
Yeah, it's fun to see your business relationship and friendship too. I tell people the story all the time that my favorite text that I've ever gotten from clients ever was when I was in Amsterdam for training, and I actually copied it so I can read it verbatim. It was a text from Mabel. She said, "Dean and I will not be at the training tomorrow. We are going to a rave tonight. We'll be at the training on Sunday. We'll see you on Sunday." And my first thought was like, wait, no one told me there was a rave happening. I guess it happens all the time in Amsterdam. So I was like, next time we plan better, and then we all go to the rave and make it part of the training schedule. So anyway, so the machine that you got for that first studio, was it the Proformer?
The original, man, the Proformer.
Wow.
I still have one in a friend's garage about 20 minutes north of here. Still sitting there, still works. That was the first one. I loved that machine. I mean, it was the first type of that machine I ever been on, but there was just something about it right away. I fell in love instantly with it. Just the versatility of it, the comfort of it. And that was the first one. And we've had every single model except the Evo since then. So we went M2 or M1. The first one wasn't the best machine. Quickly went to the M2 and M3. Then we've been the different variations of M3 till now. And now in our two of our studios, we have the Mega Pro. So we've gone the whole range with the machines.
Including the ramps.
And the ramps.
Wow. Incredible. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah, what an adventure that must have been to work with the ramps. That's cool. So you really bought into the whole idea of the evolution of the method, of the machines, and you've seen that progression. So can you, just for people who don't know, describe a little bit the difference between the Proformer, the very first machine, and then like the differences that you notice in the machines of today? So say between the Proformer and the Megaformer, what are the salient differences that you would describe in terms of the evolution of the method?
Sure. The main difference on the Proformer is that the front and rear bars came up and down more like a traditional Pilates reformer, how you lift the front bar. So it was one static bar. You had to lift it to use it and drop it to not use it. And that is a major difference because, the way we teach and the way Lagree tells us to teach is, let's get to the next move fast. Well, this would be something that would take 10, 15 seconds, lift, drop, and lower. So once we saw that this was out of the way, we knew right away, okay, what does that mean? That means more intensity, faster transitions, better flow. You don't have to think, I can't do this move, then that move, because there's a bar in the way. So really, I find that was the biggest difference. And then also the ability to change the springs. Now on these machines, you can just reach down and click them real quick. On that one, you had to lift the flap and then do the spring. So really functionality in many ways, it was similar, same carriage, same handles. But the new bars really give speed and also different foot placements. So just more moves you can do and transition to in a much shorter period of time.
Because that's what Sebastian talks about with the machines, that most of the in French we call it a brevet. It's the trademarks that he's created for the Lagree are around facilitating transitions, that it was to make, either whether it be adding the lines on the machine or the numbers on the machine, changing the functionality of the different parts of the machine, and especially the spring changes. And so you noticed a big difference in the efficiency of the method and teaching the method based on the evolution of the actual functionality of the machine as well.
100%.
Absolutely.
I mean, because that's one of the things that we talk about all the time, is how to make this an effective and efficient method, how to get the biggest bang for your buck in the shortest amount of time. And you have had that very unique perspective on how the design of the machines has made the exercise more effective. It's one thing that I noticed that you do differently than other people as well, is the 40-minute class. And I'm wondering how you came to decide that your classes would be 40 minutes as opposed to 45, and whether or not part of the calculus in that was the efficiency of the method and the machine over time.
I can speak to the time and the method, and Mabel can speak to the business aspect, because it has two aspects, the 40 minutes. For me, the 40 minutes at the time, there was a new trend of going from an hour or 55 minutes in a lot of fitness down to shorter classes. And this was one of the things that Sebastian really sold me on the classes. It was really Sebastian that said, we don't need 55 minutes. You don't need 50 minutes. So for me, I mean, why should I take an extra 10 minutes of my day, of my time, and my clients an extra 10 minutes if we can get the same efficiency, the same amount of work done in less time? If I can, in 40 minutes, complete what needs to be completed, a strong, hard, efficient, effective workout with muscle burnout, what's the extra 10 minutes for? And I felt that some studios that were going longer, I didn't feel that I was getting anything extra out of the 10 minutes. I felt like it was just expanding it out, but not giving me anything extra. So it didn't really make sense to do longer classes. Like, we're trying to offer our clients something to come in, knock it out. You leave your house, you're back home within the hour. Instead of having that extra time, I just felt it wasn't necessary. And at the time, Sebastian was even doing 25-minute classes. He had the Superformer, which I would go take in his LA studio, and he was even trying to reduce that. So I felt like, my wife felt like, and our trainers felt like 40 was just perfect. And that's why
there's something really nice about the idea of a 40-minute workout, like in and out, one and done. And did that change the way that you and your trainers programmed your sequences to make them more intense in that 40 minutes? You weren't as concerned about extending out a warm up, but just getting right to the point and getting to the most intense exercises as quickly as possible?
Yeah, we started with 40, so we never even taught.
Okay.
Minutes. That was just the way we did it. So I was blessed to be taught by Sebastian. So I had 5 days of Sebastian teaching the training. Imagine 7 hours a day. It was 5 days. And this is just how he taught us. You're going to do 40 minutes. It's going to be intense. So we didn't have to shift. This was just how we programmed from the very beginning.
Very cool. Yeah. I mean, there's no hard and fast rule. There's nothing magical about 45 minutes or 50 minutes. Like, if you get the same amount of work done in 40 minutes, why not? That's a very sexy idea, actually. It's very attractive.
And then maybe we could talk about the business aspect of it.
Yeah. I mean, from the efficiency of scheduling, the short 40 minutes, if we have a 40-minute class versus a 45 minutes class, with having a 40-minute class, we find that like we are able to add an extra class to the schedule of the day, like bringing, if the studio is at full capacity, we can have up to 14 classes a day with, 15 machines. So really help with like the revenue generation.
Yeah. So it adds to your profit margin as well to do the 40 minutes. So you do 40 minutes class, 10-minute changeover, and then...
Yes, 10 minutes change. And it saves their time, like from the instructor's perspective, they can teach more classes, let's say in like less amount of time. So in 3 hours, they would have, in 2 hours, they would have taught like about 3 classes, more or less.
I love that. So instructors make more money, you make more money. It's just a win-win-win for everyone. Yeah. And the clients get a super efficient, intense 40-minute workout, and they're in and out. I've actually, you know what? Besides just talking to you guys about it, I've trained several people from Amsterdam, and of course, because you have exclusivity in Amsterdam, everyone I've trained from there mentions the 40 minutes, that they love the 40-minute framework, the 40-minute classes, and so it's clearly working for the people that practice at your studios as well.
It is. It was at first, though, in Amsterdam, it was a sell we had to do because we were the first ones to have the shorter classes. And from the perspective of the market there, it become a time value proposition. Why am I paying the same amount to get less time? So there was a little bit of a period where we had to teach them, but then all we do is give them a hard 40 minutes and they're like, oh, I don't want 10 more.
They're like, yeah, I'm good. 40 minutes
Showing
is fine.
them why 40 is better than 50, the way we teach.
Yes.
Now, like you said, nothing wrong with 50. I take some classes 50. You get a nice stretch in the beginning, maybe a nice stretch in the end. So you do have a little spaciousness on the end if you want to do those kinds of things. But for us, we just want the clients in, hit them hard, hit them fast, and send them lovingly on their way to their next adventure.
I love that. I think a lot of people might follow suit when they hear this too. It's a really good idea. I mean, it's there's a lot of things that are really attractive about doing those 40-minute classes. I want to just talk about what it's like, because you have studios in San Francisco and Amsterdam, which are a few miles apart, those two cities.
Like,
both amazing cities, and it's kind of cool. I guess in the beginning there were exclusivity contracts offered, and you got in at the very beginning when that was happening. So do you have exclusivity in San Francisco and Amsterdam both?
we have it in both. We actually, at the way back when, we had more. We had Bangkok, we had Kuala Lumpur, we had a lot. But we, over time, of course, realized why we're holding on to things that we're not going to use, and made different deals with Sebastian to relinquish, and ended up with these two. And yes, incredible cities. We're super blessed to have in those two spots.
So, but what's that like? I mean, I know Mabel is like maybe the most organized person I've ever met in my life. She's on it. But that's still, even for the most organized person in the world, that's still a huge challenge to manage and organize all these different. So you have, is it 3 in Amsterdam and 5 in San Francisco?
We just opened one this past weekend.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, we opened Core40 Sunset with the Mega Pros. So we just...
fantastic.
Yes.
So is that 9 then total?
9 total.
9 for now.
Mabel.
9 studios with how many coaches?
We have, with both regions, I think about 120 coaches combined.
9 studios, 120 coaches in 2 gigantic world-class cities. I mean, it's amazing. So tell me, what's that like? Managing studios in 2 big cities? I'm sure there are people who are interested in doing it. What are the pros and cons?
Well, I can speak to how it is on the ground. We just need whoever who wants to do it, you need a team that you trust on the ground that are able to, do the job. Because I can't be in both regions at one time. And, I can't do all the parts of the business, like from the operations to, the scheduling to marketing to customer service. So we have a team that handles that on both regions.
So you have a much more kind of high level administrative role, and
Yes.
and you have really good people on the ground. I'm sure that's the key. I mean, just to have a great team.
Mabel runs everything. Honestly, the only reason we can do it is because of Mabel. Like, I have people coming to me all the time. They're like, hey, you should open this and let's open that. And I say, okay, just go do it. Like, yes, go for it. I'm happy for you, because really need, first of all, we have the same North Star, right? We want to provide an excellent product. We want to provide for our families. We want people to feel good. So since we have the same exact philosophy, it's easier for us to find people on the ground that share our philosophy. And that's the important thing. You got to make sure, like anyone thinking about doing this, your management team has to share your heart. Like, it's not about like how much experience you have with this or that. Like that, I learned a long time ago from our biggest business mentor, a guy named John Davey. He said, hire heart, train everything else. So this is kind of how we've done our management team. So when we're not there, the vibe, the feeling, the support is still there. You know what I mean? So it's just like a rigid structure that we're not used to. It's still us. Now it is a challenge. In Amsterdam, it's easier because Mabel's there. I live in Costa Rica. I made a decision with my wife and my parents, in-laws, and our daughter to move. So there's no ownership here in San Francisco. So it does provide challenge. And I think the biggest challenge for people that want to do this is keeping the product consistent. Like whatever you want the product to be on a second by second basis, or a feeling or intensity level, whatever is the most important thing to you as an owner, that's the hardest thing, because neither one of us is here every day. When I'm here, I take 1-2 classes a day. When I'm in Amsterdam, I take 1-2 classes a day. When I lived here, I took 1-2 classes a day. So it's easier to have my hands on not only the training, but also little things in the studio. Like, why is that there? Why is this wire here? Like, we're pretty anal about like everything. So not having your eyes or Mabel's eyes, that's the challenge. So you really got to make sure there's someone there and you are still going and spending time. And when you are there, you make a big presence, lots of classes, lots of meetings, meeting the clients, saying hi to the clients, asking them what they need. So when you are there, when I am here, it's like I've been here for months, even though it might be 3 weeks.
It's just laser focused when you're there. Every minute counts, and you're in and looking at everything, considering everything.
Yep.
But I really love that approach, though, of starting with the heart and training the rest. And I felt that, honestly, when I was there with your trainers in Amsterdam. There's a real spirit of professionalism, passion for the method. I mean, there was not one person who wasn't all in for the quality of their teaching. The other cool thing that I loved teaching your group was that you had already done quite a bit of training with them before I did the level 1. So they were at a really high level. So we were able to start really, really high level and get to some really fun details of using interesting variations and diving into some of the nitty gritty of form and alignment and tempo and the scientific principles behind the method. And I wonder about, because there's a lot of studios that do their own internal training. I wonder if you can talk a little bit about what you do to get your trainers. Number one, I guess you already talked about this a little bit, how you pick them, and then what your process is for training them to be at such a high level of professionalism and passion.
Yeah, the Lagree training is a lot in 2, 3, 4 days, however long it is. And we realized long ago, post Lagree right away is where you're going to lose a lot of people. We lost a lot of people. They would do the training, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, now what? I'm scared. I don't know how to do this. Or, all the fears, lack of confidence, all the things we feel in our normal lives are amplified when you have to put a mic on all of a sudden and perform in front of 14 people, 15 people, 16 people. So we realized way back that we needed to give them the extra support, ideally before we even get the Lagree training, but especially after. I mean, our post-training program is months long, and we have two regions that do it. And we take our time, and they pay one fee for the training. And then we take as long as they need until they're confident to get on the mic. We had one trainer way back when that literally, Michael, took a year to get on the schedule. But we were patient.
But if that's what it takes, that's what it takes too.
And she ended up being a fantastic trainer. So you don't want to lose people in this early stage that might be superstars. And you don't want to give up on people. And more importantly, you don't want them to give up on themselves. So our training program is just warm, comforting, support, time, energy, whatever we need to give to get them feeling confident enough to take that first step and teach that first class, which we all know. I mean, for me, was terrifying when I first taught even the first months was terrifying. So knowing that we've gone through that, Mabel has done a fantastic job with our training team of just providing what they need to help them get over that hump so they can be successful.
Oh, Dean does a lot of training as well about what is beyond Lagree, and Dean can...
Basically, it's experience design. So you have the Lagree piece, But then each studio teaches differently. They have their own design. How do you want the clients to be greeted? How do you want them to feel? What intensity level do you want? What moves do you like? What moves do you not like? How many legs do you like? All the things is all the experience designed for your particular studio. And every studio or every brand is going to be slightly different because, as Sebastian always says, there's no one way to teach Lagree. There just isn't. So we figure out from the beginning what we want the experience to be, and then we coach them from the very, very beginning on being able to do that. So slowly, they're getting all the information. So by the time they are ready for the mic, they know from the time they walk in the door how everything is supposed to be. So it's really about defining the experience for your clients and making sure the trainers want to do it that way, love doing it that way, and believe that that's the right way for our client.
Because as you said, the crucial component to the success of your business and the longevity of your business is the quality of the workout that they get. And so if you start with that in mind, with the training and everything is building and moving towards that, that really is the secret to success and the longevity that you've had.
And I also would like to tell anyone who's going to open a studio, the experience design starts before you choose your space. So first of all, you're going to decide what machine. Well, that machine is going to fit in whatever you space a certain way. And how the machines fit is going to determine what the client experience is. So when we go look at a space, we carry a roll of megaformer cutouts even before we sign, obviously, and we lay them out and we spend time and we walk around and we're like, how is this going to work? So it really starts before you choose your spot. And believe me, the first spot we chose, I didn't realize there were 2 poles in the middle of it, which prevented a little bit of walking, a little of this, one less machine. So now from that, I realized, okay, no, we're going to know from the moment we stand there and close our eyes, I can see exactly how everything's going to flow. So it's from the time you choose that space. Please, if you're going to open a studio, pick the machine, cut out your things, carry them with you, tell the real estate agent you're going to need an hour, and lay them out. So you know there's no surprises, and you can now determine from that point forward through the training how it's going to be for the client, which is ultimately who we're doing this for in the end.
That's great advice. And I think that is probably the secret to your success, that you thought about every aspect of the client experience from the beginning to the end before you ever even open the doors on any of your studios, including the training part, which I think is also super, super important.
I mean, even when we were about to open Sunset, I spent about 3 hours slowly moving the machines 1 inch this way, 1 inch that way. There's a mirror seam. I didn't like where that seam, like literally spending hours just defining the exact placement of the machines. And that's the detail for our new studio owners out there that you need to have from the outset if you want to not have any big surprises along the way.
I love that. What's next for you guys? What's on the horizon for Core40?
Mabel, want to share something?
Well, we are always looking for opportunities to expand.
Being a little cryptic, but ideally, we are going to be opening more in the Amsterdam area first. Our team there is incredibly solid and hungry for more classes. So let's just say that is going to be our first step.
Forward. In 2026.
In 2026, yes.
So more studios, plural, in Amsterdam.
Correct. That's
next. And also beyond, slightly beyond. We'll plan to expand more in the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands, we're going to go through more of those markets. That would be our next adventure.
Very, very exciting. Well, I know we're coming to the end of this. I'm very excited for you guys. And I have to say, I was so thrilled to meet you and to hear your history. I feel like you have so much to offer the world of Lagree, the communities of Lagree, and even just the advice that you've given on this podcast has been so valuable. And I'm really grateful to have met you, to have known you, to work in your studios, and look forward to continuing to have more interaction with you, and wish you all the very best in your projects to come. It's very exciting, sounds like.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Michael.
Michael.
And let's definitely 100% do that rave next time.
Yes, next time we rave.
We will rave together. This one's the funnest person in the world to party with. So let's go for it.
I'm all in. Next time we'll be a little more precise with our planning. So, all right. Well, Dean and Mabel, thank you so much for joining the podcast. All the best, and we'll see you soon.
And if anyone on the podcast, the new studio, wants to reach out for an hour phone call and get some free advice, just reach out. I'm always happy to help. I've done it and Mabel's done it for dozens of licensees. So sometimes you just need a little encouragement or to hear the right words or maybe trigger something in your mind that's important. So honestly, please don't hesitate. Anyone that's interested.
I love it. That's the spirit of the Lagree community. Thanks, you guys, so much.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Do You Lagree? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If so, please like, subscribe, and share. If you'd like to take your Lagree practice or teaching further, check out my book, 400 Lagree Routines, at chipmanlagree.com and on Amazon Kindle. There you'll find hundreds of classic full body, upper body, and lower body sequences to keep your workouts challenging and inspiring for many weeks to come. And please do connect with me on social media and my website for more conversations, tips, and upcoming episodes. And if you're enjoying the podcast, leaving a review is a great way to help others discover it. Until next time, be well, be strong, and keep shaking.